Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Flo, are you there?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. I'm very happy we are talking right now.
Yes, it's all working. It's the great Bitcoin chat coming all the way across from two sides of the world, from really sad Wales, where I'm at the moment, which I'm sure Chile. I'm sure the weather's a lot nicer there
Yeah, for the moment.
for the moment. Yeah. Yes. How are you doing today? You good?
Sorry?
How are you doing today? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
This is
I'm
awesome. We're
ready.
starting this new project, aren't we? This is the new kind of show that we're
Yeah.
doing today.
Yeah, I'm so happy you have experience with this because I'm not ready. But I'm ready, but I'm not ready.
Our flow is fine. It's easy. You just all you do is you sit down on the microphone and chat shit for an hour. I think anyone can do it. To be honest with you.
No, but I'm happy you're here.
Thanks, Flo. Yeah, so welcome everyone who's in the room. This is the very first Bitcoin is Art Spaces, and yeah, Florencia and I, when we were over in Bitcoin Atlantis, we decided it'd be a good idea to maybe have just a weekly chat around Bitcoin art and some of the themes that are in it for that particular week, or a theme that we just choose. So yeah, and for to give a quick, well, do you want to introduce yourself, Flo, and say who you are? I know that's kind of awkward, but you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Bitcoin artist. I live in Chile. I've been doing Bitcoin art for about 4 years now. I come from an art background, so I'm very focused on maybe the physical aspects of my art production, and learning new techniques. I love that, and I love how I apply these new techniques to different Bitcoin themes, and just trying to learn through the whole process.
Yeah, and you do it really well as well. That needs to be pointed out. I know that's tough to say yourself, but you're a fantastic artist. And we first met when we were doing some interviews with 21ism, and that was a really cool interview right in the middle of lockdown. That was 3 4 years ago now, which was crazy. Yeah, and I remember seeing your art back then, and then yeah, and thinking, "Oh, this is really cool." And I'm glad we've got to the point now, like we're collaborating together now on this show. I think it's a really cool thing. And yeah, I think it's a good platform now. I think perhaps back in the 21ism days, I think it Bitcoin culture, Bitcoin art culture has kind of developed since then and is growing and growing, as we've probably seen it in, or as we saw in Bitcoin Atlantis.
Yeah, it was so cool to see so many new faces or new pieces. Sometimes you never see the face, but new artists and new projects. Do you want to tell about, recap yourself first, and then we can get down into the Bitcoin Atlantis?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to do that, Florence. Yeah, I don't want to blow my own trumpet. That's the thing. So I don't want to. Yeah, I'm just a Bitcoin artist as well. I don't know what else to say. Street artist initially, and then through Bitcoin, I've kind of channeled and pushed myself really hard and tried different media and medium, and yeah, and have my art shown all around the world, which has been amazing. With other artists, met some incredible people, of which most of those are in the room today. So thank you very much for joining and supporting. Really appreciate it. And yeah, it's just an incredibly exciting, revolutionary space to be in, and I'm so humbled and grateful that I'm here towards the beginning of this incredible journey, um, and uh, and making art, and that's it. Hopefully that will last generations. But people seem to be appreciating it at the moment, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I really love about your work how so like the pieces can be so different, and that's like so freeing to see, to watch, and inspiring for me. Like sometimes I get a bit like doubt, like I don't know, should I just stay with one technique, or improving one, like get better skills at that one thing, but then I feel like the piece is asking for another thing. So for example, your work has inspired me a lot to take that risk and to try the thing, even if it's new and you have to learn it, and just because the piece is asking for that.
Oh, that's really, really nice and humbling for you to say. Like, I think, I guess that's it. I don't know. I've never been classically trained, see, Florencia. You know, about as classically trained as I've got is like grade two in trumpet. That's it. I mean, I can play the trumpet, play about four notes on the trumpet, and that's about
Mhm.
as kind of trained as it's come to in the arts. Just kind of figured it out for myself. Um, and basically, rather than looking at it as a way of I'm going to master a certain type of art, but asking what does the art require at that moment in time in order to make it the best it can possibly be, and what do I need in order to do that, and then I suppose, fortunately or unfortunately, learning those skills then in order to actually create that art, which does take a lot of time. Um, it'll always mean that I'm never going to be master of a certain art, and my soul is very okay with that. So it's never going to be. I'm never going to be amazing at painting, drawing, sculpting, whatever it might be. But it gives me that freedom then to explore in between these different medium, and Bitcoin holds me to account then to create some really well, high quality work that hopefully people enjoy. But conversely, I look at your work, and then I think the opposite. I think it's incredible how you know, you've gone to, even since the time that I've known you, in this very very brief time. Your work has continued to improve as well, and not only that, look at different messages and challenges in Bitcoin as well, and kind of like, for instance, your latest piece is really really cool around the golden goose of Bitcoin.
Thank you. So before we I would like to hear from you. Like, for example, could you talk more about the main piece? I think it was the main piece, maybe the one you displayed in Madeira, because you had more than one. But I'm talking about the mask with the lights and all. Maybe you can like explain us like what was the inspiration for that one, and what was like maybe your main goal or something like that, like what was in your head, and then did the outcome achieve that idea that you had, or anything. I would love to understand more about that piece.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the Mask of Genesis was the name of the piece. I literally came up with that name just like a week before the event, and it was like down to the wire, as all good artists. And I had Fractal kind of saying, "Where's the piece? We need it." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." But it's the standard artist thing where you kind of take your time, not on purpose, but just to try and get it finished. But yeah, it's I think the concept behind it is I've always I've always thought trying to get art closer to Bitcoin as much as possible. And one of the thoughts I had in my head was, if I was face to face with Satoshi, what would I ask him or her or them? And that's where the piece kind of came from. And then by going through that process, then I was thinking, what is Bitcoin asking of me as well? And that's where the reflections in the tiles in the mirror are. It's a kind of mosaic where you can see yourself, but you see yourself differently. And not only that, the actual tiles on there as well are etched individually with blocks, the hashes of blocks 1 to 144 on there. And then hand cut tiles, then which then kind of it's a reflection of you in that piece, and then but also remaining, because of the mosaic, kind of the mirrors aren't quite lined up. You also then have your anonymity as well. So yeah, that's the idea of the piece. I've been playing a lot with LEDs, and I just found this really cool effect, and I just think it looks uh, it looks really cool to have the light coming through the actual mirror tiles then. And then on top of that, then I wanted to bring it to life. So that's where I added the kind of the price check on it. So the mask glows green when price goes up, red when price goes down. And on top of that, then when a new block's mined, it flashes orange, which is um, pretty cool. So it's just connected to the internet then in order to do that. So it's almost kind of this. You are looking. I want to try and look into the face of Bitcoin, and hopefully I've succeeded on that a little bit. And yeah, a bit of proof of work around it. Cut my hand several times whilst doing it, um, which was quite fun. And I'll always have a little tattoo now of that piece and reminder of that piece, so that with a little scar on my hand. Not intentional, by the way, but these things happens when you're making art. So
Yeah, I really like what you said, like these tiny pieces that can reflect you, but in a tiny bit, and then like if like it will reflect many things at the same time. It's like when you say we are all Satoshi. Um, so we really are part of this, but then like everyone, like the cyber harness at its best, and I love this because it's really hard when you want to make a piece about Satoshi, given that there is no face. It's really hard to give it life and an identity. Also because you don't want to put it into one. Like we of course have used, both of us have used the Dorian Nakamoto's face, and many artists have, and that's very cool. He also helps us in that way, like he's lending us his face so that Satoshi can be more human in a way. But when you don't want to put a face into it, I mean, it's very cool that you use a mask, uh, but it's also that you put another step into it, like this reflecting. That was I think it was a very cool and very smart detail you added there. You wanna go deeper into it, or
yeah, no, I just leaving the mic off. That's all whilst I'm talking, so I need to come off mute. Yeah, yeah, just it's reflecting the user and giving them pause for thought and having that time with the piece, and see how far they've come in their Bitcoin journey as well, and yeah, because it's a crazy wild ride. And I also like to say everyone is Satoshi except for Craig Wright. So just going to add that in there just because it needs to be said.
yeah.
So yeah, so it went really well. Really happy with the mask and how it turned out. It was nail biting finish. Fractal Encrypt was incredibly patient with me. So and hopefully I delivered a piece that was worthy of his gallery. So yeah, really happy with that. But yeah, that's enough about my piece anyway. So let's talk about your piece. Tell me all about it. Tell me the story behind your piece, because you've chosen a really interesting theme when you were at Atlantis.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if it's too weird or what, but I actually saw the original painting that the drawing was based on when I was in Bitcoin Amsterdam last year. So I was very deep. I love like when you're going to these conferences and everything is Bitcoin all the time, like in your head. For me, at that moment, I went into museum to see classical art, and I still could only think about Bitcoin. So yeah, it's like the obsession is getting bigger and bigger. And I saw this painting. I was there with my family, with my mom and my sister, and we stayed there a moment, like talking about this swan protecting its nest, and all the like the lectures you could read into that painting. It was so beautifully done. Um, and it was so beautiful to see this creature protecting what is the most valuable to it. So it's the promise of the future. Its eggs is the reason why this animal is living, and I don't know. In my head, it made sense to think about the hodlers. Like we are, yeah, we're buying Bitcoin, but it's so much more than just like. I know it's money. I know it's a store of value, but it's also like a promise of a better future, a promise of I don't know. better future for our children, you know. And so I got back home and I said, like, I have to do this. I don't know if people will like, because I do get self-conscious. Like, if I have to give an advice to another artist, it's like, yeah, do whatever you feel, be honest to yourself. And I really try to tell that to myself. But then there is a part of me that's always also thinking, like, I really want to connect with other people. Like, I want my art to deliver the message in that way. I need the other person to understand what I'm trying to say, you know. So I just started drawing and hope for the best. And yeah, well, also while studying this painting, I learned that this painting had an intervention like done to it. That's really weird in a classical painting. This painting was from the I don't know how to say the year, 1500. How do you say that? Um,
Yeah, 1500s. Yeah, that's fine.
1500s. Yeah, thank you. And then in the 1800, or like 300 years later, it got intervened and written on top of it, and it was a symbol of the liberation of the nation, and this animal became like the protector of the nation. And well, that all got mixed up in my head. Like it was a swan is maybe not the most threatening animal, but it will give it all if it's feeling threatened, you know. It will try its best to protect what's the most important for him. And I also feel like kind of connected in a personal way. Like I don't know how to, like, if someone's going to rob me, I don't know how to protect it. Like, I don't know how to use a gun. I don't even own a gun or something like that. When you think like about the most, I don't know, thing, that protective thing that I own is my dog, and she's really, really scared of other humans. Like, she's not gonna protect me. So yeah, but also I feel like I will give my best and I will die in this hill. Like, it's a contradiction, but it's a very also real sentiment. So yeah, well, that all led into into that drawing.
That's so epic. That's really, really cool. There's lots of themes there that I can relate to, kind of the protecting the kind of the embryo that is Bitcoin now, because we are in a very embryotic stage, and Bitcoin art as well is in a very embryotic stage, and protecting that egg, allowing it to grow so that it can be so that it can grow stronger, and grow into this incredible bird. So, indeed, this majestic animal. And then the second point as well, which I really like, is the kind of the link with Bitcoin and nature as well. And it was seen absolutely everywhere in nature, and I see every look at I look at there's even, I was reading a paper the other day around how the time chain has got several kind of pieces in it that DNA also has in it, and you see it in Bitcoin all the time, even with like the chart, the cycles, etc., the cycles of winter and summer, etc. It just seems like the most, even though it's man-made, the closest thing to nature as well. So I think that's when I looked at your piece, and it was right next to mine as well, so I had plenty of time with it. It was really, really fantastic to and awe-inspiring to behold. So I'm really, really grateful you brought it to Atlantis and the Bitcoin community in general.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have been able to be there, and also very grateful with Fractal because he also had to have a lot of patience with me. So yeah, but everything turned out like such a great experience. And what I love most about these conferences is that you get to talk, you get to go deeper, you get to. Not everyone wants to maybe be like, some people want to look at art alone and get their own conclusions, and that is cool. But I love it when they don't. Like, I love it when they want to share it with you, like their views, and want to know yours. And I get that experience in conferences, and it's super fun.
I agree, and Adam Cadman is not in this chat at the moment, I don't think, but he played a nice little trick on me by invited me over to his, because obviously we as Bitcoin artists we're relatively anonymous, we're super shady, and we're really careful with our identities, etc. So he was looking at my piece and I was like, oh, do you like that, mate? And he was like, yeah, it's great, looks good. How about this guy's piece? And he walked me over to his piece and I was like, oh yeah, really like this one. Yeah, it's Adam Cadman guy, he knows what he's talking about. And then it was Adam Cadman, so that was my first introduction to him personally. But yet, yes, it's having that forum and almost that stage as well. It's both, and that's why I think Bitcoin Atlantis did incredibly well for the art. I think in terms of the way it was presented art, and it was front and center. It was literally from the moment you kind of walked into the venue, that was the art gallery was there. You had Fractal's piece, incredible piece in front, and then the art gallery was directly behind it. So you had to experience the art gallery whether you liked it or not. And it's really cool for us as Bitcoin artists to kind of have that billing, and then obviously have chats with the plebs about different topics in our art, and not only that, but hanging around the art gallery then with the artists themselves, and talking about, throwing around ideas, and just having fun, having lots of banter.
Yeah, I felt the support. Like you entered that place and you had the art and then you had the book corner. So it was like the focus on culture was so evident that even if you don't care about that stuff, it kind of moved you into like, okay, but what is this? You know, like let's ask that little question. And because that's also very special for me, like coming from the art background, you are used to talk with people who is in the same like place, you know, which I don't really like, but you get used to it. And then when you move to something else, like for example Bitcoin art, you encounter people who are so different, like come from so different backgrounds. Many don't care. I have been to conferences where people tell me like, no, I don't like art. I don't know anything about art. I don't understand it, so I don't like it. And I said, like, really, really, you don't like anything about what's going on here? Like, this sample is so different. Like, every piece is very different from the other. The only one uniting us is that we all care about Bitcoin. And he was like, oh, well, yeah, I do like that one, but I don't understand it. So art is not for me. And started talking up with that person, and not, I don't know if I was trying to convince him or, or what, but it was so interesting to me. Like, you would dismiss any something just because you don't understand it or because you don't have knowledge about it. Then how did you come to cross around like Bitcoin or something like that? Like how can you embrace a new technology if you feel so afraid of things you don't understand or you have no knowledge about? And I just told him, like, forget anything anyone told you about art and just look at it or try to feel it and decide, do you enjoy that? Does it make you happy? Does it, I don't know, spark something into you? And that's all. You don't need anything else. If you want to go deeper, if you want to know about art history, that's cool, but you don't need that to enjoy art.
Definitely not. And if you have the underlying knowledge about Bitcoin and you're crazy about Bitcoin, I think just going into that art gallery, as an artist, but I think as artists in general in that gallery, we were hoping to make people see Bitcoin in a different way. And going to what you were saying there, people are going to have different experiences. I mean, I've hardly done any classical art stuff at all. I've been to the gallery in London a couple of times and a couple of Banksy exhibitions. That's my my experience in the art world. But as you say, it depends on how the art makes me feel, and how then I react to it. But yeah, it's interesting. What do you think about, kind of us as artists being the Bitcoin marketing department then? Because, I've heard that, floated around a couple of times, because Bitcoin doesn't have a marketing department as such, and how we kind of disseminate or take the messages from Bitcoin and then present them in a different way to people.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, we just do that. And for me personally, is I'm just trying to understand Bitcoin a bit better. And in that process, the only way I know how to do it is through art. And I end up like kind of promoting Bitcoin with my art, but I don't know if that's so, like the goal of it. Like, like we're trying to process this thing. Uh, for example, I feel like now I'm very obsessed on how is Bitcoin going to change our society, and how can this have a huge impact in everything. And you start thinking about that, and then the images pop into your head, and then you do it, and then you realize, well, this is marketing. Like, if I had to do this for a company, I wouldn't do it as good as I'm doing it for for Bitcoin, maybe. um yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think as artists, I think as humans, we have different ways of disseminating messages and look at the different senses and how to experience things. And certain people experience them by by visual, by kinetics, etc., by sound. So I think it's really important as a kind of a Bitcoin community that we are, if we're going to encourage as many people as possible, we have to kind of get the Bitcoin message through different means. I love listening to Sailor every and various podcasts of all the amazing Bitcoins that are out there. But sometimes, as I say, I think a picture paints 1,000 words, and I think that's my never-ending goal as a kind of a Bitcoin artist, is to kind of try and distill the soul of Bitcoin into a picture or a painting or an experience, even something that someone picks it up and goes, ah, yeah, I kind of understand that. But Bitcoin's an incredibly complex beast, and that's what also draws me to it as well, is trying to work out where and what and how to explain things. And it's, yeah, I think it's really interesting. I just like enjoy playing, enjoying exploring, and having an adventure in this incredible. There is a rabbit hole. It is a rabbit, but I'm beginning to think, is it a bottomless rabbit hole? And that's kind of fun as well. Having that experience where you're not sure where your learning is going to end, if it ever ends as well. So I think that's where us as Bitcoin artists have a really important part to play in this revolution. And we are the image, we are the eyeballs, but not only just the eyeballs as well. There's some incredible Bitcoin musicians and other ways as well. I'm sure that will come in the future of kind of putting forward the Bitcoin message as well. So I think that's kind of our role in that community, in the community. But not only that, just to celebrate our culture as well. It's a really special culture, and we like to be reminded of it. It's incredible that it's everyone wants to kind of crystallize their journey and look back at it. And I think that's what, with art, we can really kind of transcend the time, which is maybe a topic for another day, but transcend the kind of time as well, um, and make people appreciate Bitcoin that little bit more.
Yeah. I also think, because we can play a role inside the Bitcoin community, but we are also playing a role like outside of it, or that's my hope. I'm like, in my head, I feel like many people don't know about Bitcoin just because of bad luck. Like, I feel so blessed that I know about Bitcoin, and I feel it was pure luck of the family I have, of, I don't know, like many things that I couldn't have controlled. And if we do art, if we do something to put out there in the world, maybe we can raise the question that will lead someone to Bitcoin, because I really, for me, Bitcoin is the thing that's giving me hope in today's world. Like, and it gives me so much hope. Like, it's radical how without Bitcoin I felt a bit pessimistic. Like, I was not maybe the most optimistic person in the world regarding the future, or like why would you have like a family, or why would you work that much? And I don't know, like I kind of felt fiat symptoms without knowing the disease, maybe. And with Bitcoin, I have found the way everything makes sense to me. So of course that's why I'm all in in every way. But I'm also thinking of how can we onboard more people. And I know this orange peeling is a very weird topic. Like many people say, you cannot orange peel someone else. Everyone has to find it their own way, because it's not really possible to really orange peel someone. If you find them in the right moment, in the right place, maybe you can be of help. But and that's so frustrating. And I've been looking around. I don't remember the artist name right now, but they're doing a lot of art, street art projects that are so inspiring. And I'm thinking of how to do something similar. I don't know. I've never done street art, so I might need your advice there. Um, but I'm thinking like how can we be like have an impact in the normie world, because I don't want to I do want to be part of this community and share this with Bitcoiners. It's like super fulfilling, but then I wonder about this other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the whole echo chamber thing, isn't it? Where um, it's you kind of you if you're speaking to Bitcoiners, if you're orange pilling people, it's got to have to be outside this echo chamber that we're in as Bitcoiners and Bitcoin artists in itself. In terms of, I think you're referring to Street Cyber and that community. That also had
Yeah,
a piece
I think that.
in Atlantis as well, which is the Hodler Naught piece, which was signed by Hodler Naught then, I think, which generated funds for charity then. Yeah, I think they do an incredible job just getting the word out there, and it is these touch points, isn't it? Whether it's in real life, or I say real life, in kind of meet space or online, where people actually see the Bitcoin art and then actually appreciate it. I've just on a personal level, I've the Believe piece, which some may have not seen before. It's kind of the most sacrilegious piece in the whole of Bitcoin, and I still get people like sending me messages that are incredibly happy that I've put Satoshi on the cross. But that's what art is, isn't it? So some people are going to like it, some people aren't. But in my local cafe here in Wales, they actually saw the piece and they really wanted it, and they purchased it, and now it is sat in the cafe, uh, and it's Orange Pill, the business owners who own several properties around the area, commercial properties, and it's going to lead on to different things then as well. So I think it is important that that kind of happened on accident or by accident there, where I just showed them the piece because they were into it, and they. But at the same time, it is, I think, maybe as Bitcoin artists, we just need to get our art out there in the normie world. And if it is shamed, and whatever, great. But the best thing you can do is to cause a reaction amongst people that then provides them with that touch point. And if you can be one of the, as you say, the three touch points of Bitcoin as an artist, if you can be one of those three, I think that's one of the coolest things that you can do. And it is about trying to get that art in the mainstream. So yeah, it's an interesting dilemma. It's still very much like your swan and the egg at the moment. This Bitcoin art is in such um, a delicate and embryonic phase at the moment. So it's about kind of nurturing it within our community, which I still think there is a little bit of way to go there. I think even in this time in the space that I've been in, Bitcoin art is getting higher and higher billing, and people are coming round more to seeing it as a key part of Bitcoin culture. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting, and yeah, let's do a street art project. That's fine. I've actually got something. I've actually got some ideas actually, which I'm looking at doing. So I think yeah, they're still in the pipeline, but yeah, after this space, we'll have to have a chat and maybe sort something out. So yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Like I'm getting more and more obsessed about it because I feel like it's needed. Like when people have to have somewhere where they can find, or I don't know. I want to connect like the art with the information. You know, that would be awesome. But I also I wonder how to make it work because it's been super hard to try to be just like an artist to live out of art, and that's super weird, like because you know who the buyer is going to be, someone who really understands your piece and likes it and wants it, so he probably knows about Bitcoin, and then it's gone to a private collection, you know. Yeah, how to mix it up a bit, it's not easy if you want to make a living out of art, you know. I don't know how they make it.
Is yeah, I agree. I see what you're trying to say. Like how with mainstream artists, well, we only need to look to the goat in the space, Mr. Crypto Graffiti, and some of the incredible work he's done with putting Bitcoin art out in public. In particular, the kind of the billboard campaigns, which is still one of my favorite Bitcoin art pieces of all time. I just think it's just so clever, so brilliant, and mixing it and trying to spread the message of Bitcoin amongst amongst the general public, and starting conversations. I think as artists we can definitely take a leaf out of his book, but also at the same time I think it's balance as well. I think you need to create some art for to experiment with yourself and Bitcoin. You know, art that you can have at shows, etc. But then, yes, I think there probably is a bit of duty to kind of promote Bitcoin art even further. And I know if Chief Monkey's he's in the audience, but he's done these bankers bankers, which are fantastic. Which is the best kitchen utility I've ever used, which is a spatula. And we're cooking pasta. Me and my girlfriend, we use it every single time. So she's being orange pilled as we cook. So there's different ways of maybe getting it out there in fun and different ways as well. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting challenge that us as artists have to kind of get out there, but it will happen in time. At the same time, I don't think many of us artists are full time Bitcoin. I think there's only a few full time Bitcoin artists in the whole world. So I'm balancing a day job with doing the art on the side. So it's kind of trying to cross over that threshold maybe, and if it can go full time, then that may be to the point where uh, more art can be produced and more orange pilling in public can actually happen.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also not like only doing the art, and it's very hard. I don't know how they do it, but I love that some people can, and I really love sharing what others are doing because I think that's also. I don't know if you've noticed, but I feel like there is so much more collaboration in the Bitcoin space, um, and willingness to share what others are doing because we are all talking about the same, and we all want this to be bigger and to have like better ideas, and we can like get inspired but by each other's work, or at least that's how I feel about it.
I agree. I think the community, the Bitcoin art community, is absolutely incredible. There is no animosity whatsoever. Everyone is out there to help each other out and to make the best art that possibly can happen. And if there's anything that anyone needs, so for instance, even in Atlantis, I was just very humbled by 0711 BTC's kind of act where he gifted me one of his father's um, Bitcoin incredibly detailed pencil drawings. There, the community is just so kind, and I would say selfless as well, and actually willing to kind of push the actual art form forward as well. And I know that I can and have in the past done some collaborations with artists, and we know that we're on the same page. We know we're working towards the same goal, and we know that we're creating something really special here. So it is an incredibly tight knit community, but at the same time, I've tried every opportunity. I don't know if you have this as well, but try to get more and more people into Bitcoin art. And some of the artist friends that I do have, I say I'm not in an artist community as such, but a few mates that do art. I try to encourage them as much as possible. Have you had much take up from your friends that are artists that are um, when it comes to orange pilling or getting them in the artist community?
You mean my normie artist friends?
Yeah,
To get them into the
yes, around Chile or wherever they may be in the world.
Yeah, no, that's really hard. I haven't had much luck orange peeling actually. Um, I guess I wasn't maybe that good at it. Like I'm now focusing more in the art. But I do. There is a friend of mine who is like always since last year when I started doing the screen prints. He's been helping me and like teaching me the technique and like I work in his atelier and all of that. And since he's helping me with the pieces, then I have to explain it to him what I want so that he can help me understand which technique is better for each piece and all. So I think he's getting very orange peel by every piece a little bit more. Um, but otherwise, I yeah, I don't know why. I think in Chile, well, Bitcoin adoption is really small. It's growing a bit lately, but it's there are a lot of things that happened here that I think made it a bit slower than in other places. So yeah, people is not that interested. You're like the crazy internet people still.
Yeah, we're the crazy internet people. I agree. Although I don't know, recently I've been getting more luck with it and the legitimacy. So I've got a piece that's coming out later this year that I've got a videographer involved, and I'm paying him in Bitcoin. We have regular Bitcoin chats as well. And actually, the studio owner, I'm hopefully moving studios in the next couple of weeks to a much drier studio without any leaks or anything like that, and hopefully going to pay them in Bitcoin as well. So it's slowly but surely, and then obviously the conversations in the cafe then around the Believe piece, which is there for all to see, and do and try and start conversations around that. But yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with my creative friends, but yeah, part of me just thinks I don't push it too hard, otherwise you do sound like a crazy internet person. You do sound like a fanatic, even though I just want to go, just make Bitcoin art, just make it. It's simple. As honestly, it's simple. It goes completely against what you think, but as an artist, it makes so much sense because as artists, it forces you to make work, because the sooner you make work, the more sats you acquire the mining, and then as you mine more, if that makes sense, I've had some of my art pieces that I've started off in my early days that have gone for more Bitcoin than they have recently in Atlantis. And it's crazy to think that. And I look at that. Normally, it's the other way in the kind of art market and the art world. Don't know whether you've thought
Mm.
about this. Where you kind of sell your first piece for a few couple of quid, and then you grant then at whatever it might be, hopefully hundreds of pounds or whatever it might be. But Bitcoin forces you to start creating, and then also then provides you then with the sats then that potentially can sustain you for a longer career as well. So it's almost set up as a way to actually better uh, better your artist career if you actually start in Bitcoin. Am I making sense, Florencia?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I really agree with you. Because I actually, for me, for example, it was easier, I think, to start, um, like, to get deeper into Bitcoin. I think I might have been a Bitcoiner before I knew it. I always had this, for example, low time preference kind of mindset that's from my family, but also because I always wanted to study arts and to be an artist. And I was always told, like, you want to be an artist and you live in Latin America, like that's the worst combination possible, that you're going to starve. Um, and so I was very stubborn. I still am. And I said, no, I'm going to be an artist and I'm not going to starve. So what I did was I started working very young in anything that I could. And I was always good to save money, not to buy a lot of stuff and things like that. And I could study and work. And I have an incredible family who helped me do this. So when I started like learning about Bitcoin, it makes absolute sense to me. It was like, this is the thing that's going to make me free. Like, I'm going to be able to do my art without worrying about like maybe money every time, or like having a lot of side jobs and stuff like that. And well, today I'm so happy that my side jobs are Bitcoin related, and that helps me in my creation. Because 2 years ago or something like that, I was working for normie companies and stuff like that, and my head was divided, like learning about, I don't know, skincare products, about tourism, and then I had a little space in my mind to concentrate about Bitcoin and what I really am passionate about. And today, thank God, I'm focusing more and more on Bitcoin and Bitcoin culture, and this is helping me in a creative way so much. So yeah, that has helped me a lot, at least.
I think that's cool. I think mixing the kind of the artists, we do have to eat, and we do have to kind of have a roof over our heads. And as you say, like I'm not one for. It's very similar to you. And I think a lot of Bitcoiners as well, not one for um, spending on stupid things that you just don't need, or things that don't last. So maybe there's just a case there for artists to actually orange pill them, to say, on top of selling your art in a community as well, the value of that sale will actually go up over time, and then can be used to then plow into your Bitcoin art career. So in the sense that it does actually suck you in or suck you closer to the Bitcoin sphere. It's a wonderful, weird, and wonderful thing the way Bitcoin works, and it's kind of counterintuitive to the current fiat system. Almost sometimes where you have to check yourself because it doesn't make sense, but it does. It should be that way, but it's not. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you. I see there's a TJ Murphy. You wanted to talk. I have a solicitation. I don't know how to say that word.
Yeah.
I'll open your mic. You can join us, and everyone. We're still going to be here for like some 15 minutes or something. Yeah. So if you wanna pop into our conversation, um, that's also cool. um, yeah. So yeah, are you planning on visiting a new conference, Rebel, this year?
So I'm hopefully gonna maybe have a little look at Nashville this year, which would be
Mhm.
amazing. I've always wanted to go to Nashville as well. I think it'd be a really cool place around the music. So looking to do some pieces there, and then maybe even later in the year holding a gallery somewhere in Wales, of some of the Bitcoin art pieces, and running it myself. I think that would be kind of cool to do something on a small scale. As we said, we talked about orange pilling here. I don't think
Mhm.
you've got to start somewhere, and maybe having that in place might start Wales as a Bitcoin nation, which is, it's got a lot of catching up to do in El Salvador, but it's using the skills that I have in order to increase Bitcoin adoption. So that those are the two. But I'm open to go to other conferences as well. I know you're heading off. I'm jealous. You're heading off to Calgary. You're heading off to them all, Florencia, aren't you?
Yeah, that was so cool. I got invited there, and it's such an special event. I'm getting more and more I don't know, like excited about this fun side of Bitcoin, like these different events that aren't focused in necessarily in the technical aspects, which I think we also need, but doesn't every event need to be that way? I don't know. So so that one is very, very cool, and I'm happy that I'll be able to go there, and we'll see how it goes.
That'd be amazing. I remember when we were at Atlantis, we had Bitcoin Brains who was telling us about the incredible stake that's out there. So I was salivating when he was just talking about it. So when it's going to be there in person, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, yeah. I guess because I'll probably be joined by my parents. We have to see, but they really wanna be with me in this occasion. Well, they always want, but okay, this time they probably will. And I think one of the reasons might have been the stakes.
I think so. I think, and that's in fairness, they're apparently that good that you would want to go that far. And while we're on that topic, I just want to have a huge shout out to the Florencia Montoya, Montoya Salvadores clan that accompanied you to Atlantis as well. Such incredible, lovely, lovely people that was there. You know, your mum is a hardcore Bitcoin street artist. She was out with me putting stickers on the lampposts, etc. So yeah, Mrs. Salvadores, uh, respect to you, and thank you for helping me out with that. So yeah, that's awesome. Mad Monkey, you're on as a speaker, mate. Anything you would like to contribute to the conversation, my friend?
Hola, hola, hola. How are you, people? Do you hear me?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Glad to see you here, all of you. It's a pleasure to be in a nice group of the people that they try to reach out to the others, and spread the word about the kind of possibilities that we can use the Bitcoin for. Yeah, how the things so with you? It's nice convo, anyway. Do you hear me?
Hey, Matt. Yeah. Hey, Matt. I just wanted to say thank you for your help today. I was reaching out to Matt Mankey because I had some questions about a new project I was doing, and he was super open to help me. And this is also very related to what we were just talking about. Like, people in this space is so open to collaborate and to help each other. And I feel that even when we might disagree in some topics, like we can discuss that. We can say like. We are not thinking exactly the same about this or that, but if you need something for me that I know that I have, I won't have any problem to share it with you, you know.
Mm-hmm. You see, the world got a lot of issue, and people some also got a lot of issues. But the thing is, it's all about to be open-minded, in my opinion. Because every single one of artists or people, they joining here, is everybody got completely different background, we are international community, people living sometimes in the hut in the jungle, some of us living in the urban jungle like London or different western countries, so yeah, like I said, everyone here got a completely different background, and like, for example, myself, I'm kind of fresh in the Bitcoin kind of space, in the way that I discovered Bitcoin actually not so long time ago, because I'm going kind of from the privacy aspect. I'm looking for the tools, like from 4 years I'm looking for the tools that can kind of develop the kind of free market, because when I saw the issue with the government, I realized that, for example, Bitcoin is one of the tools that we can use it against. it's very important aspect. Like cyberpunk ethos for me, it's like kind of mainframe for me, like, you know. And Bitcoin's got a kind of privacy issues in my opinion, but still it's a nice tool, like, you know, to fight for the freedom of speech, to fight for the kind of I don't know how to say, like anti-government stuff, like, you know, because like if you've got open eyes, like you can see all the bollocks with the governments, like, you know, and the lies that they use to control the people, like, you know. But when you get an orange pill, like, you can find out that yeah, there are others, like, you know, worldwide, and this is kind of international network that for me, like the experience, like with you, all of you, with the Atlantis, you know, exhibition, like, which connect me with amazing people, like, you know, I've got amazing chats with the people. I met nice people, very open-minded too, like, you know. And you know, we have to share and spread this kind of message, like, you know, because nice convo with you second ago was like about the, or do you know, Flo, other artists, you know, in your area? You know, I know a lot of artists that they do the amazing stuff, like, you know, handcrafted and designs and everything, but they haven't got fucking clue about the Bitcoin, like, you know. And I try to orange pill some of them, and the kind of response was, for me, was crazy, like, you know, like, it was like people are not ready for that. We are so early, like, you know, we are so early, like, with the Bitcoin art. And those who are participate now, they are kind of, they are pioneers, like, you know, because it's all about to spread the message with unstoppable protocol, like, you know, because nobody can stop it, like, you know. Anything will be here, everyone will be remembered, like, you know. But our things, our work will be remembered as like a people that they try to do something and change, they change the world, like, you know. And when I speak with my people, like here, when I living, when I travel, like, you know, like I said, we are so early, like, you know, people haven't got clue what's going on in the world, you know. Like, yeah, like for me, for example, like last time when I what I discovered about the Bitcoin, like, for example, some of the Bitcoiners don't like the political stuff connected with the Bitcoin. But for me, for example, it's a amazing opportunity, like, you know, like example of Gaza, like, you know, that all the Gaza is completely destroyed, but I know the people that they working on the ground and they use the Bitcoin to buy the food because of the Lightning network. They haven't got bankomats. The the fiat money doesn't work there completely, like, but they still can get a connection with the node or connection with the wallet for 10 minutes, and they can synchronize the node. They can synchronize the wallet and they can buy the food for the Bitcoin, which actually a lot of people don't understand, you know. So Bitcoin is kind of solution for many major issues, like, you know. And this is like an artist, you know. I think we should use our art to inspire the people, you know, to show them that we know the other tools, not always perfect, you know, because nothing is perfect, but till your art give the inspiration to others and you change the mind of the people, you can inspire 10 other people that they can inspire another 10 people. This is how we build the network, you know, ungoverned people, like, you know.
I
So
agree completely, completely Mad Monkey, and your piece as well in Atlantis really echoed that around the Assange thing, and it was really, really cool. Um, Incredible piece of art there that really kind of emphasized that revolutionary message as well. So yes, mate, I completely agree. I think as artists, we have to kind of lead this revolution and try to make people aware of these tools as best as we possibly can.
yeah. Thanks, brother, for the words, like, you know. But you see, like before I was doing, I'm the DJ, I'm the woodworker, I was the former chef, like, you know. a professional chef. But the thing is, like in the art, like for me, what is most exciting thing that you can inspire people to critical thinking. That's the most important thing, you know, because you see the memes, you see a lot of beautiful art, you know, that can give the peace chill to the people. Like, but we are living in so important times, guys. Now, so important times, you know, because amount of the bullshit and amount of the lies around us, it's like incredible, like you know, it's overwhelming myself, like you know. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit delicate about that, but amount of the bullshit, it's completely overwhelming me. That's why I try to use my stuff, what I'm doing, and with 2140 our crowd, like you know, we discussing the Bitcoin, we discussing the cyberpunk ethos, we discussing the tools that we can do on the Bitcoin, this and that, you know, and this is real revolution, like you know. And like I said, we are very early, like you know, there is so many kind of ships, like in the way that people don't see those solutions, you know. People
I
people just sitting, living in their life, you know, and they feel happy because they every week they've got a wage and they can feed the kids and everything, but they people don't understand even the inflation, like you know. People don't
Yeah,
understand
it's
that
so true.
their money, they just fucking lose the value in the last 2 years, like 70%. Don't believe in the charts, like inflation is 3%, you know, 3% inflation in Poland, for example, when I living, when everything is fucking 150 times more expensive like that 1 year ago, like you know.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah, it's
I
like
completely
critical
agree.
thinking. Critical thinking. Last 3 years, this is. I also woke up like 4 years ago when the COVID came. You know, when I was professional chefing, I was doing the stuff, blah 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 blah. But I was not aware in so many issues, like you know. And then when you see the plans of all these elites and everything, like you know, to not go deeper in the pedostyle things or something, but you see, like when you realize that why you pay the taxes when they print the money like crazy, like what the fuck, you know. so
yeah.
Yes, I
so yeah.
completely agree. It does have a lot,
I,
there is a lot of
I,
awakening, and as Bitcoin artists, we do need to make sure that we give that information. I'm just conscious because TJ Murphy's had their hand up for quite a long time there,
Hi.
and you've got an interesting project that you want to tell us about, TJ.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me up. On the subject of introducing Bitcoin to normies and kind of how I've been involved recently. I got involved with a project called the Satoshi Cyber Opera with some folks in El Salvador that I met at the Adopting Bitcoin conference a couple years ago. Uh, and it's been an awesome thing to work on, and it's how I got involved with Swan. Actually, I work for Swan now, but I was working on this project to make a rock opera around the origin story of Satoshi Nakamoto, and just totally make it up, make it a mythology. We don't know anything about how Satoshi actually is, so we can make up whatever we want. But like, make it a story that's appealing for normies. Make it a romance. Give it the hero's journey arc that is the kind of things that people are used to being inspired by. Um, and we worked with pretty seriously on this project with Tomer, who's the chief editor in chief at Swan, for a good 6 months. We built kind of a really beautiful story arc and storyline, and got it to a point where like it could be picked up and made into a real thing. Everybody had to go off and do other jobs that make money, but it's something that I'd love to go further on. But I think that approach, I think, was a powerful one to meet people where they're at in a style that they're familiar with, and not focus so much on the technical parts of it, because the people who are persuaded by those arguments are probably already orange pilled. But to make a narrative that people's heartstrings can be tugged by is something that I got really emotionally involved in. I'd love to do more with. But I just posted. I'm only just now getting onto Twitter. I ignored it for years and years, and I realized the Bitcoin conversation is happening here. But I've been posting some of the art that I've been making, and I did some concept art for the cyber opera, and I just posted some of that. I just wanted to share that with you. I really appreciate what you're doing here, and for involving me.
yeah, thank you for sharing with us. It's so cool to see so many different projects, and much as Mad Monkey said, like it's so early. Like sometimes I guess we go so deep into our own stuff, our own problems, or our own projects, and we kind of forget that it really is super early, and there is a lot of things to be done, and there is time, and yeah, and we're winning also.
Yeah, I really love that different take that you have there, TJ, on like the kind of the rock opera thing. Sounds absolutely insane. I'd love to see it. Honestly, sign me up for a ticket.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it could go forward. And like part of the way we were trying to approach it is there's lots of artists who are making Bitcoin music videos on the internet now, just independently. And if we could get them aligned around a common story arc, each piece could be really different, visually, in every way, but it could be tied together through this narrative. If you've seen there's a 2014 movie of the Prophet, Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. It's kind of similarly done. Each poem is animated differently, but it's all tied together through that narrative. Yeah, I hope we can get it back together and we'll produce something on it at some point.
that would be insane. Let's get it sorted. And then maybe the halving party in El Salvador might be a bit too soon, but the world tour, and get that going. But I think that could be that's definitely a Broadway show that I would love to see, and I think it has a lot of legs on it. And you're right. I think it's about hitting the emotional part of humans and with the story rather than the technical part, because that's how we actually act upon our emotions rather than sometimes what's logically in front of us. So I think that's a really valid point.
Totally, and I'll share with you the materials if you like separately from this. I'll send you some stuff.
That would be really cool. Thank you very much. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, that's amazing. First Bitcoin rock opera. Oh, is it wonderful. This is what it's about. This is what the magic of Bitcoin artists and getting together is about. Some crazy stuff I never even thought of was happening is actually happening. So I love that. That's superb. Gareth, you've come up to speaker. Is it something you'd like to contribute to the conversation as well?
Yeah, I think really talking about the emotional impact that art can have, and orange pilling someone kind of happens in their heart, not in their head. So I think images that speak to people are just so important. I think we don't realize just what a superpower that we have here. And like for my own sort of background, I've been working as a gemstone carver and a jeweler for pretty much my whole life. So the whole point of my work is to create something beautiful that also has emotional attachment and has meaning for the people that see it. And it's been quite difficult in a way because people look at my work through a lens. They actually put some of the work that I do, my customers actually look at it through a microscope to check that it's okay before they give it to their customers. So that's a very different world from sort of creating an art piece sort of more quickly than that. So I've been learning that the message, the design, the impact is more important than how many hundreds of hours I may have spent sort of making something look good. But from my own point of view, I sort of started doing the Bitcoin art about 2 or 3 years ago. And I was reading about it, orange pilling, listening to Michael Saylor and Robert Breedlove, and as they were talking, I was thinking, well, I see that in nature. Or I see this in the structure of this mineral or this crystal or this gemstone has those qualities of the Bitcoin network. And every person that's sort of in this space has their own sort of backstory and their own expertise. And what I like is that people bring that to the Bitcoin space. And so we attract people in different ways. And like a rock opera, God, I'd love to see that. And so, yeah, meeting all you guys in Madeira was great. The experience of seeing it, just being there. And I remember I was back here about a week and I called up one of the people from my Bitcoin meetup and said, I just need to hang out with a Bitcoiner. I just, it was just, oh my God, everyone is just, I just want to talk about Bitcoin. So we met up for dinner. I took my wife there and introduced her. She saw her first miners and in his house and everything. So yeah, like I don't know what you guys feel about that, but I'm really interested in the conversation around it. And it's sort of, we each bring our own expertise into this. If someone sees, in my mind, if someone sees a beautiful piece and it moves them emotionally, and then they find out, oh, it's talking about Bitcoin, then you're already halfway there to orange pilling them. Whereas I think trying just to talk about Bitcoin without any kind of emotional image or attachment or any sort of anything like that is very, very hard. And so that's where I feel that that's the magic power, I think, of the Bitcoin art and the work that we're all doing.
Thank you, Gareth. I think you're right there. I'm gonna read a quote here from Orange Manufacturing, who's actually on the room as well, and it's on a tweet that they've just put out. I heard this from someone a few years back and it just made sense. How to know if art is good or bad. Good art makes you feel something: love, hate, happy, sad, etc. Bad art, you feel nothing. And I think that leads on to your point there, Gareth, is that if we have that emotional connection with our audience, where they're seeing something that they understand, then that almost opens the paths then to the further conversation with around Bitcoin and deeper themes within that. What say you, Gareth?
Oh, right. I wasn't sure if I was to respond
That's
or
all
if you
right.
had
Yeah, no
another
worries.
speaker lined up and I was going to take their valuable time.
No. I
No.
want no. And also while you're here, fantastic art as well, and I think you bring something really unique to the Bitcoin art space as well, creating gemstone art, which is insanely intricate and beautiful. And I was very lucky to see one of your pieces in real life there at Bitcoin Atlantis as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes. I'm working on a lot more right now. I just bought 2 display cabinets this week and I've got them set up, and I'm planning to be at Bitcoin Rodeo in Calgary. So say hello to Flo there, and we can, I'll get you a coffee.
That's so cool. So cool that we are going to see each other there. I didn't know. Very cool. Hey, I
Yes.
was just like wondering and thinking about something you said, like how can everyone put their own, like their own talents and their own views into this space. And that's actually something that I've seen more and more. Like I'm seeing, for example, in the not only in the art space, but also like the companies that are out there, like putting their own expertise to Bitcoin. And it's impressive to me to see like how important this is. Like there are so many ways to contribute to this space to I don't know, help get the word out there and Orangeville or whatever. And yes, just you just have to do what you do best. It's not that, like, don't overthink it maybe, and just do your thing and continue to be there. Um, that's also very, I don't know, optimistic, and I'm feeling optimistic about it. Like, I want this space to be full of talent and of expertise, of knowledge, and to see what every Bitcoiner can bring up here.
And I think I remember saying to you and to Rebel while we were at Madeira that I felt that the next phase of Bitcoin art, like the first phase of Bitcoin art, was putting the Bitcoin symbol everywhere and variations and designs on that. And then I think the next phase was after that was sort of exploring the structure and the design and the math all these different qualities behind Bitcoin, and you see a lot of artwork that sort of picks up on various aspects of that. And that I thought that the third phase, and these will all sort of go on simultaneously at the same time, but I thought the third phase was sort of art that expressed how Bitcoin made you feel, how it frees you, it gives you some hope, some optimism for the future, and how emotionally it can kind of lift your spirits and make you think that you're building a new world that doesn't rely on fiat and everything that they're trying to do to distract you and to control you. You're just like, oh, I don't care. I'm doing my own thing over here, and I've got some really good people that are my friends, and we kind of get it, and we're working together. And I felt that your Swan kind of showed that sort of emotional joy of somebody sort of discovering Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to, well, thank you all for being here with us. We decided with Rebel that we shouldn't do this more than an hour because we want to do it weekly. And if we talk forever today, we're not going to do it next week. Hey, Aulani, I see you had, like, let me accept your thing. You can talk now, but we're like maybe closing it up, but I didn't want to leave you with your hand raised. And it's connecting.
That's great.
So yeah,
Whilst
we'll try to keep it into the hour, I think, next time.
I agree. This is, by the way, this is like we've just kind of decided we're just going to do it. There was no plan around it, which we just go out and create and doing this project. So what we would like from everyone who's listening is obviously we want to make it so it serves the community better. And if we are going to do this a weekly thing as well, some any feedback on what we'd like to include, what we might do every week is have a topic or an artist that is involved. But again, we want to kind of serve the Bitcoin art community and be a discussion point in there. So any feedback would be greatly appreciated. I don't know if
Yeah,
Aulian
I think
is now.
I think we lost. I think we lost her. I don't know.
Oh, here I am.
Yeah, there you are. Hi.
Hi. No, I won't talk long. I just wanted to, I think, just make a point. I do have I'm excited. This week I do have a Bitcoin project that I've been working on the past year, and I'm excited to announce it, but then I'll also be able to, might be the prototype because that's how close to the line I'm pushing it. But, even if I bring the prototype to El Salvador at the halving party, I'll do that. That's how, not just excited, but to be able to show people. But the main thing I wanted to say about that is, my husband and he's a Bitcoiner as well. I kind of jumped into it before him. And I don't know if you guys can relate, but pretty much anything and everything I see that is orange, and we laugh all the time because it could be an orange pillow, and he's like, "Oh, a Bitcoin pillow," we start cracking up, or someone's on TV with an orange dress. We're like, "Oh my God, she's got such Bitcoin vibes." Everything is orange for us. And I know the world doesn't see it that way, but this project was birthed out of the fact that we wanted an element or design something in our own home, and it wasn't out there, and so we decided to go ahead and make it ourselves. And I'm not saying everyone can do that part, but just more of encouragement. Like, remember, if there's anyone out there that's inspired to do, maybe you're not sure how to do it, start off with the simple things. It is geared towards, our targeted audience is Bitcoiners, of course, but it also might be able to reach other people. Either way, I'm not caught up in so much the people like it or not. And that's what's cool with artists is just create it. Even if other people are like, oh, that's not my vibe, that's not my thing. There are people out there that it is their vibe, it is their thing. If it's a subtle Bitcoin message, if it's a straight up in your face, all Bitcoin. I just feel like in our community, we're all hungering and wanting something to display what we're proud of, what we want. I've got a little hodler in our living room. It's a stuffed animal. Typically I wouldn't have a stuffed animal. It's not a stuffed animal, excuse me. I wouldn't have like a doll type anything in my place, but it's perfect. It's our vibe, it's our energy. Then we have art pieces, and then we have books and anything to display. And even when family and friends come over, it could start conversations. So yeah, I just pretty much wanted to encourage people out there that, even if your project just has something orange in it, I feel like Bitcoiners would even eat that up. Because I tell you what, I'm looking at orange things, orange blankets, orange. It's a little crazy. I don't know if anyone's crazy like me, but it's what I do. And then when I see Florencia, your artwork is stunning. And I know Bitcoin, so I understand. But the female with her in that orange dress, you don't have to understand Bitcoin to respect and want that piece hanging somewhere because it's that beautiful, And this has been really encouraging. Thank you for opening up this room. Thank you for everyone that's encouraging Bitcoin art, expression, and freedom. And it's super helpful. I hope you guys have this room again where artists and designers and producers or whatever can come collaborate and listen to other people and they're where they're at their level.
Thank you so much, Alani. Okay, so I know we can talk for hours, but we really, really have to go now. But thank you so much for being here and for joining us. And we really wanna do this every week. So thank you so much, because if people join, then this thing is super, and it's much more fun. I mean, I can talk to Rebel all day, but it's so cool to yeah, to be able to like get into this group talk and to hear all the things you have to say. And it's, as I said, like I get so inspired by others, and I learn so much from others' experience. So thank you so much, and thank you, Rebel.
Oh, thank you, Florencia. And it's been an incredible chat today. I feel inspired now. I want to go out and create some more artwork now. So it's been an absolute joy and humbled to be spending an evening with you guys. And yeah, we'll do it next week. And as I said, like any suggestions that you have in order to make this better for you guys, please message either me or Florencia. And yeah, thank you so much for joining this evening, and hopefully, or day, or wherever you are in the world, and hopefully we'll speak to you very, very soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.